Hello, my friend. Welcome back. I'm really glad you're here with me today. Wherever you are listening from, maybe in your room, maybe on a bus, maybe late at night when the world feels quiet, I want you to know that this space is for you. A slow space, a safe space, a human space. Today, I want to talk about something very simple, but also something very heavy for many people. I want to talk about overthinking simple conversations. Not big speeches and not important presentations. Not job interviews or exams. Just simple conversations. Saying hello. Replying to a message. Answering a question at work. Talking to a neighbor. Speaking English when the moment feels small, but your thoughts feel loud. If you've ever replayed a short conversation in your head again and again, if you've ever thought, why did I say that? Or, I should have said something better. Or, they must think I'm strange. Then you are not alone. And today's episode is for you. Let me start with a small moment from my own life. A few years ago, I stopped at a cafe near my home. It was early in the morning. The light was soft. The street was quiet. I hadn't fully woken up yet. The barista smiled and said, "Good morning. How are you?" And suddenly, my mind froze. It sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? Such a simple question. But inside my head, everything became loud. Should I say I'm good or I'm doing well? Is I'm fine too boring? What if I sound unfriendly? What if my pronunciation is strange? What if I answer too quickly? What if I answer too slowly? All of this happened in less than 2 seconds. And finally, I said something like, yes, good, thanks. The barista nodded politely. The moment passed. Life continued. But my mind didn't stop there. As I walked away with my coffee, I replayed the moment again and again. Why did I hesitate? Why did my voice sound unsure? Why didn't I smile more? Why didn't I sound natural? It was such a small interaction, but my thoughts made it feel heavy. Maybe you've felt this too. Maybe someone asks you a simple question in English. How was your weekend? What do you think? Are you busy? And suddenly, your mind goes far away from the present moment. You stop listening. You stop breathing naturally. You stop being yourself. You start performing. I want to stay with this feeling for a moment. Overthinking is not loud on the outside. It's quiet on the outside. But inside, it's exhausting. You speak one sentence, and then you judge it for 10 minutes. You send one message, and then you read it again and again. You finish a conversation, and then you analyze every word. Overthinking turns simple conversations into emotional events. Let me tell you another small story. One evening, a friend sent me a short message. Just 3 words. Are you free? That was it. 3 simple words. But my mind created a whole movie. Free now, free tonight, free emotionally, free to help, free to listen. What if I say yes and disappoint them later? What if I say no and seem rude? What if they think I don't care? I didn't reply for 10 minutes, then 20, then 30, and the message was still there. Quiet, patient. Finally, I replied, "Yes, what's up?" And the reply came quickly, "Just wanted to say hi." That's it. All that thinking. All that tension. For a simple hello. This is how overthinking works. It takes a small moment and fills it with imagined meaning. Now, let's slow down and look at the language in these moments. How are you? This question is not a test. It's not a deep investigation. It's a door. When someone says, "How are you?" they are opening a small door between you and them, and you don't need a perfect key. You can say, "I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm good. Thanks." Not bad. Try saying these softly with me. I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm good. Thanks. Notice how simple they are. Simple does not mean wrong. Simple does not mean weak. Simple means human. Now think about this phrase, I didn't know what to say. Repeat it slowly. I didn't know what to say. This sentence is powerful because it's honest. Sometimes not knowing what to say is the most natural thing in the world. And yet, we are so hard on ourselves. We think we should always know. We think silence is failure. We think hesitation is weakness. But in real life, conversations are not perfect. They are full of pauses. They are full of small mistakes. They are full of unfinished thoughts. Let me share another moment. I was once in an elevator with a colleague. Just the two of us. The elevator was quiet. The ride was short. He looked at me and said, "Busy day." Again, a simple question, but inside me, the familiar feeling returned. Should I complain? Should I sound positive? Should I joke? Should I keep it short? And I answered, "Yeah, kinda busy." He nodded. We stood quietly. The elevator stopped. We left. That was the entire conversation. Nothing special happened. Nothing bad happened. But later that day, I realized something important. The conversation didn't need more. Not every moment needs depth. Not every sentence needs to be interesting. Not every interaction needs to leave an impression. Some conversations are just bridges. They help us pass through the day, and when we overthink them, we turn bridges into obstacles. Let's reflect on this sentence together. It's okay to be simple. Repeat it with me. It's okay to be simple. Say it again, slowly. It's okay to be simple. When you speak English, you are not performing for an audience. You are connecting with another human being. And connection does not require perfection. I want to talk gently about why we overthink simple conversations. Often, it's not about language. It's about fear. Fear of being judged. Fear of being misunderstood. Fear of sounding foolish. Fear of not being enough. When English is not your first language, these fears become louder. You are not only expressing your thoughts, you are expressing them through a tool that still feels unfamiliar. And when the tool feels unstable, you hold it tightly, too tightly. Overthinking is often a sign that you care, and that matters. But caring does not mean controlling every word. Let me invite you into a quiet image. Imagine you are walking with a friend. You are not planning every step. You are not thinking about how to move your legs. You just walk. Speaking can be like that too, but overthinking makes us stare at our feet. Now, let's look at a common sentence many learners say to me. I think too much before I speak. Repeat it. I think too much before I speak. This sentence itself is simple, but behind it, there is a tired mind. If this is you, I want you to hear this clearly. You are allowed to speak imperfectly. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to restart a sentence. You are allowed to sound human. In fact, these things often make you more natural, not less. Let me tell you about a student I once worked with. She was very quiet in class. Her English was good, but she rarely spoke. One day I asked her why. She said, I have the sentence in my head, but I wait too long, and then the moment is gone. That sentence stayed with me. I wait too long. Overthinking delays life, and language lives in moments. So I told her something simple. Speak sooner, even if it's not perfect. The next week, she started speaking more. Her sentences were not always correct, but her voice was alive. And that is the goal. Now, let's practice a few gentle, everyday phrases together. Imagine someone asks you, "What do you think?" You don't need a perfect answer. You can say, "I think it's okay. I'm not sure yet. I need some time to think." I don't have a strong opinion. Repeat one of them with me. I'm not sure yet. This sentence is honest. It gives you space. It keeps the conversation open. Overthinking often comes from the belief that we must say something smart. But most conversations are not about being smart. They are about being present. Let me slow down now and speak directly to you. Sometimes, when you overthink simple conversations, it's because you are carrying too much inside. You are tired. You are stressed. You are trying to do your best in life. And English becomes another place where you want to be good. I understand that. But language is not a test you pass once. It's a relationship. Some days, the relationship feels easy. Some days, it feels awkward. Both are normal. Let me share one last small story. I was walking home one evening when I met an old neighbor. We hadn't talked in a long time. He smiled and said, "Long time no see." I smiled back and said, "Yeah, it's been a while." That was it. No deep conversation of no perfect English, just recognition. And as I walked away, I felt calm, not because I said something special, but because I didn't overthink it. Sometimes, peace comes from letting a moment be what it is. As we come closer to the end of today's journey, I want to leave you with a few thoughts. When you speak English, try to stay with the other person, not with your inner critic. Try to listen more than you judge yourself. Try to answer simply and then let go. You are not here to impress. You are here to communicate. And communication is a shared act. If you forget a word, describe it. If you make a mistake, continue. If you feel nervous, breathe. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are practicing being human in another language. And that takes courage. Let me say this clearly. You are not overthinking because you are weak. You are overthinking because you care. And with time, practice, and kindness toward yourself, that care will turn into confidence. Not loud confidence, quiet confidence. The kind that allows you to say, "It's okay. I'll just speak." Thank you for spending this time with me. And before you close this episode, I want to stay with you a little longer. Because overthinking simple conversations doesn't disappear just because we understand it. It softens slowly. It loosens its grip over time. And sometimes, what helps most is not advice, but companionship. So imagine this. You and I are sitting somewhere quiet, maybe near a window, maybe late in the evening. Nothing urgent, nothing demanding your attention. I want to talk about what happens after a simple conversation ends, because that's often where overthinking becomes strongest. You leave the room. You end the call. You put your phone down. And then your mind begins. You replay the conversation. You hear your voice again. You notice the hesitation. You remember the word you couldn't find. And you think, "Why am I like this?" If that thought sounds familiar, listen carefully. That voice is not your enemy. It's a protective voice. It wants you to be safe. It wants you to be accepted. It wants you to avoid embarrassment. But it doesn't understand one important thing. Conversations are temporary. They do not stay alive the way thoughts do. Most people forget a simple conversation minutes after it ends. They move on. They return to their own thoughts, their own worries. But overthinking keeps the conversation alive inside you. So here is a gentle sentence I want you to learn, not as English, but as a way of thinking. It's already over. Repeat it slowly. It's already over. Say it again. It's already over. This sentence is not about giving up. It's about release. When a conversation ends, it belongs to the past. It does not need your energy anymore. Now, let me share something personal. There was a time when I avoided small talk completely. Not because I disliked people, but because I disliked the way my mind punished me afterward. So I stayed quiet. I stayed safe. I stayed inside myself. And for a while, it felt comfortable. But slowly, something else appeared. Distance. Distance from people. Distance from opportunities. Distance from moments that could have been warm if I had allowed them. Avoiding conversation doesn't protect you forever. It shrinks your world. And learning English is not only about learning words, it's about expanding your world again carefully, gently, at your own pace. Let's look at a very common moment. Someone says something unexpected, a joke you don't fully understand, a comment you didn't prepare for, a question you weren't ready to answer, and your mind panics. So I want to give you a few sentences that are not advanced but powerful. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Can you say that again? Give me a second. Repeat one of them. Give me a second. This sentence buys you time, and time reduces panic. You do not need to respond instantly to be natural. You need to respond honestly. Now, I want to talk about something deeper. Sometimes, overthinking simple conversations is not really about English. It's about self-worth. You may feel that when you speak English, you are being measured, not only by others but by yourself. You may feel that your value is connected to how fluent you sound, how confident you appear, how normal you seem, but your worth does not change with your sentence structure. You were worthy before English. You are worthy while learning English. You will be worthy long after today's conversation is forgotten. Let that idea sit with you. You are not trying to become someone else through English. You are learning how to express who you already are, and that takes time. There is a quiet courage in showing up imperfectly, in speaking even when your voice shakes, in answering even when you are unsure. That courage does not feel dramatic. It feels ordinary, and ordinary courage is the kind that lasts. Now, imagine a future version of you, not perfect, not fluent in every situation, but calmer. This version of you hears a simple question and does not panic, not because they know the perfect answer, but because they trust themselves to respond somehow. That trust is what we are building here, not speed, not complexity. Trust. So the next time you feel your thoughts racing in a simple conversation, try this. Feel your feet on the ground. Take one slow breath. Answer simply, and then let it go. You do not need to carry every conversation with you. Some moments are meant to pass through you, not stay inside you. As we come to the very end now, I want to thank you. Not for speaking perfectly, not for understanding everything, but for listening, for staying, for choosing growth over silence. If today's episode felt slow, that is intentional. Because growth does not rush, and confidence is not loud. It is quiet. It is steady. It is kind. And even now, after everything we've talked about, I want to remind you of something very gentle. You do not need to fix your overthinking. So many people approach language learning like a problem that must be solved. They say, how do I stop overthinking? How do I remove this feeling? How do I become confident quickly? But the human mind doesn't work like a machine. Overthinking is not a switch you turn off. It's a habit that slowly relaxes when it feels safe. And safety comes from repeated experiences where nothing bad happens. You speak, it's imperfect, and the world does not collapse. You hesitate, you search for a word, and the conversation continues. These quiet experiences teach your mind something important. I survived this. I was okay. I can do this again. That is how confidence is built. Not in big moments, but in small, ordinary ones. Let me describe another scene for you. You are standing somewhere public, maybe waiting in line, Someone next to you makes a small comment. Long line today, hot weather. This place is busy. These are not deep statements, so they are invitations, and you don't need to accept every invitation. You can smile, you can nod, you can say, yeah, that one word is enough. Repeat it softly. Yeah. That word alone can be a full response. It acknowledges the other person. It keeps things light. Overthinking often tells us that we must add more explanation, more correctness, more effort. But often, less is more. Now, let me speak honestly with you. Sometimes you will still overthink, even after practice, even after progress. And that does not mean you are going backward. It means you are human. Some days your mind is calm. Some days it is noisy. Language lives inside that changing mind. So be patient with it. I want to share a sentence I often say to myself. I did my best with what I had in that moment. Repeat it slowly. I did my best with what I had in that moment. This sentence releases blame. You are not speaking English with unlimited energy, unlimited focus, unlimited confidence. You are speaking as a real person with a real day behind you, with real emotions, with real tiredness, and that is enough. Let's return to the idea of simple conversations one last time. Simple does not mean meaningless. A short greeting can change the mood of a day. A small response can make someone feel seen. A brief exchange can remind you that you belong in the world in English, too. You do not need long sentences to belong. You belong the moment you try. And every time you speak, even quietly, even awkwardly, you are strengthening a part of yourself that once felt afraid. That matters more than fluency. So when you notice your mind starting to analyze, to replay, to criticize, try this gentle shift. Instead of asking, did I say it right? Ask, did I show up? Showing up is success. Speaking at all is success. And one day, without noticing when it happened, you will finish a simple conversation and your mind will stay quiet. Not because you forced it to be quiet, but because it learned to trust you. Until that day comes, walk slowly. Speak kindly to yourself, and remember that you are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. Thank you for sharing this time with me. And as we take these final moments together, I want to leave you with a feeling rather than a lesson. Imagine the next simple conversation you will have. Not a big one, not an important one, just a small moment. Someone says hello. Someone asks a question. Someone makes a comment about the day. When that moment comes, I want you to remember this. You do not need to enter it fully prepared. You do not need to carry perfect sentences with you. You only need to arrive. Arriving means listening. Arriving means answering honestly. Arriving means letting your voice exist even if it's quiet. There will be times when your answer feels clumsy. Times when your mind hesitates. Times when you walk away and think, I could have said that differently. And when that happens, be gentle. Place a hand on that thought and say, it's okay. That moment has passed. Because life is not waiting for perfect English. Life is happening now. And English is simply one of the ways you touch it. Overthinking tries to protect you from mistakes. But mistakes are how language becomes real. They turn words into experience. They turn practice into memory. So let yourself speak. Not bravely, not loudly, just honestly. If your sentence is short, let it be short. If your answer is simple, let it be simple. There is dignity in simplicity. There is peace in allowing a conversation to be what it is, nothing more, nothing less. As this episode comes to an end, I want you to carry one quiet truth with you. You are not learning English to prove something. You are learning English to live more fully, to connect, to express, to be present in moments that once felt distant. And every simple conversation you overthink today is one step closer to a conversation you will one day enjoy. That journey is already happening, even now. Thank you for listening with an open heart. Oh, this is English with Thomas. I'm Thomas. Keep speaking, keep growing, and keep trusting yourself.